you could always contact those students through a message. And I know that sounds really bold and really kind of on the edge, but you never know, honestly, especially if you talk to one of these students and you strike up a conversation with them and you both start talking about clinical psychology, or maybe you ask them about their program, or you ask them about maybe different things about the program in terms of what they're passionate about or what they're doing or what research they're doing. You could always ask them if they are looking for other research students or looking for help to help them with their research. And if they are not specifically looking for help with their research, maybe they know someone else that is. What is up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpon. This is Phil's Guide to PsyD. This channel is dedicated to all things psychology, wellness, and graduate school. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get research experience. A lot of you guys have been hitting me up about how to actually get research experience, whether you're in high school or in college. Research experience is really, really important, especially if you want to specifically go into PhD programs for clinical psychology, because they tend to focus on research a little bit more than the PsyD programs. But there are a lot of PsyD programs that also focus on research just as much. And so in general, you're probably going to want to have some research experience on your CV and a little bit of some experience, especially when you go into graduate school, because you will be doing a lot of research when you get into clinical psychology programs. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 5 things to think about as you guys are trying to prepare to get some research experience, and maybe give you guys some tips on how to actually get that experience. The first way to get research experience is to ask your professors, especially if you're an undergrad. Ask your professors, ask your psychology professors, your biology professors, your chemistry professors. Ask your professors. I think a lot of times people think that they need to get research in specifically the psychology realm. But at the end of the day, what most schools want to see on your application is that you have at least some type of research experience, even if it's not specifically psychology focused. Now, if it is psychology focused, that's great. In fact, most of my research was based in neuroscience. So it wasn't even specifically psychology. If you have some type of research experience, whether it's sociology or biology or chemistry, those are also great, and those will actually look really good on a CV as well. The biggest thing is that you have that experience going into graduate school. The next thing that you can do is that you can ask current psychologists if they are doing research. Now, for example, if you have already shadowed a psychologist or called psychologists in your area or emailed psychologists in your area and you're wanting to know about the field, after you have a conversation with them or after you shadow them, you could always ask them if they're doing some research on the side. You'll be surprised by a number of practicing clinicians who do research on the side other than their clinical practice. And so there's a lot of clinicians who are doing research on the side, and they are incredibly busy because they're so focused on clinical practice that they don't have as much time for that research. And so for them, getting some help from a student would actually be a fantastic thing for them, because that way they could share a little bit of the load and get some things done regarding their research. So if you already have some connections, whether you've shadowed a psychologist or whether you've looked in the area and you've phoned or emailed some psychologists in the area and you've gotten to know them a little bit, maybe you visited their practice, you can always ask them if they are looking for research students to help them with their research. The other thing is a little creative. So I've talked about LinkedIn before. You want to use LinkedIn to your advantage. And one of the ways that you can do that is by looking online in LinkedIn and seeing if there are clinical psychology students, which I'm sure you will find. If there are clinical psychology students in your area, or maybe going to a specific program that you want to go to in the future, you could always contact those students through a message. And I know that sounds really bold and really kind of on the edge, but you never know, honestly, especially if you talk to one of these students and you strike up a conversation with them and you both start talking about clinical psychology, or maybe you ask them about their program, or you ask them about maybe different things about the program in terms of what they're passionate about or what they're doing or what research they're doing. You could always ask them if they are looking for other research students or looking for help to help them with their research. And if they are not specifically looking for help with their research, maybe they know someone else that is. The biggest thing that you want to do is that you just want to get a foot in the door, right? If they can connect you to someone else who is needing some research help, then that is incredibly beneficial for you, because especially if you were to apply later to that program, you already have a little bit of an in terms of understanding what the program is like, understanding the research, and also getting that experience in those connections as well. So check out LinkedIn if you haven't already to see if you might start contacting some students, some cold contact, and just to see if they do respond. And if they do respond, great. Go ahead and throw your shot in terms of seeing if they might need some help for some research. The other thing is that if you're not so bold in terms of doing that, you can always see if your college program has a graduate program that is focused on clinical psychology. So for example, if you are an undergrad and you know that your undergrad or that your school that you're in has a graduate program in clinical psychology that you may be wanting to apply to or not, that you can contact that school and let them know that you are in undergrad and that you're looking for some help with some research. There's a lot of research labs that actually include a lot of undergraduate research students who are freshmen, sophomore, juniors, seniors who are looking for some research experience. And so that might be your best bet because you're already in the system, you're already a student, and it might be great because especially if you apply later to that program, you've already gotten to know some of the faculty members and some of the research directors at that school. The last thing that you guys can do is that you can look on LinkedIn or Indeed or just online to see if there are research positions online. Now, this is a little bit of a throw in the dark, but you never know what could happen. If you search for research positions in your area, you might come up with a couple legitimate positions that you can apply to. And if you do see those positions, you should definitely apply to them, because who knows, they might accept you and you might be able to get some research experience. Now, keep in mind that this may not pertain specifically to clinical psychology. This could just be different laboratories, different companies, maybe hospitals. Whatever it is, it may not be specifically focused on clinical psychology or neuroscience, but it is some research experience that you can use to put in your CV. At the end of the day, you're not looking to become an expert in research because you're not actually doing this research for your career. You're doing it to include in your CV in order to apply for clinical psychology schools so that you can be competitive and that you can show the faculty members that you are competent in understanding at least the basic foundations of research. So if you are looking for positions, you might as well look online and see if you can start applying to some of these positions online and see where it goes. Oftentimes, if you're a college student, that may be all the experience that they are looking for. And so it's a two-way street. You get that research experience and they might be able to get some help. Now, the thing that I think is going to be really promising is that a lot of companies and organizations might take research students on a volunteer basis, right? So that means that you may not get paid for it, but at least from that perspective, you are helping them in their research. You're basically giving them free work, but at least you're getting that volunteer experience to be able to put into your CV as well. All right, fam, so that is the video. Those are my recommendations in terms of getting research experience. I wish you guys the best. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.